I'm here today with Professor Xiaoyun. He's an academic from China and the chair of the China International Development Research Network. Welcome to the German Development Institute.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you very much.
Professor Li, the OECD donor countries are discussing exit strategies in terms of development cooperation with China and other emerging countries. What do you think? Should traditional donors stop their aid to China?
I think the problem here is the definition of aid and the definition of development cooperation. And I would say, well, if you look for traditionally the aid, and there's reasons for developed countries to consider China and other emerging economies have already developed, so there's no reason for us to provide money. And at the same time, you see the problems for development cooperation today, and we face different problems. And most of the poor people currently not living the low-income countries, but living the middle-income countries like China and India. And secondly, and the middle-income countries, particularly China, India, or some of the emerging economies, actually face a lot of what I call common challenges, which developed countries share similar. Therefore, I would say there's no reason to talk about aid, to stop aid to China, India, other emerging countries, but rather to say, look, let us continue to look common challenges, to have this development cooperation. So that is my understanding and my stand for this point here.
You just talked about the common challenges. So you're working as a guest researcher at the German Development Institute right now, drafting ideas on new ways for donors like Germany to engage with China in the area of international development. So could you please outline some of these ideas?
I would say that the two areas, what I see the common challenge, one area where you see the most of the middle-income countries and some of emerging economies. You know, the issue of environment issue, increasing pollution, environment issues, is no longer in the issue of only one country, and is across the region and even turned to a climate change problem. So this is a common challenge. And the second issue, you see the rising middle income class and the increasingly speed urbanization, and which actually go into a globalization of economic governance, other issues. These are common challenge, and you see the other kind of security issues. You know, security issues in the region, in a number of areas. This is the common challenge, and at the same time, you see the new structure of international development, looking for how collectively we're going to tackle the issue of poverty, we're going to tackle the issue of climate change. All those are common challenges. So there's ways for Germany and China to move ahead, move away from traditional provider and receiver, this kind of traditional donor relationship, but rather looking for new paradigm of international development cooperation. So this requires actually Germany and China looking for new definitions, new concepts, and new instruments, and which allow us to work in the and a new situation to cope with new challenges.
You just mentioned it. On a global level, we see a number of debates on a new aid architecture. In your view, should China be a more proactive part of such a global effort?
And I would say yes, from the ethic point of view, global ethic point of view, and China is already the big country, and China was the big country before, and China is merged into a second largest. China is already the second largest economy in the world, and China is moving very quickly in the future. So that's no reason, there's no way for China to escape the responsibility and obligation for this aspect. That is, in general, China has to take much more responsibilities and obligations, and to work together with other partners. At the same time, we have to emphasize that the international development structure itself has been dominated by the Western philosophy, a Western way of looking other people, or looking the non-Western society, and that we're going to change you. We're going to use the way of institutionalized way to change your society, let you become modernized. This actually simultaneously exclude the alternative way of looking the developing country, and which China has been actually trying to say, look, we have common goals, we want to become developed, but, we do differently. And China has been doing differently in its own domestic development. So China wants to share with other developed countries and African, Latin American, Asia to say, look, we could actually look at our own ways of development. In this way, if the Western country, I would say, if a developed country or OECD DAC members are willing to give the space politically, and I would say in the future there's a lot of synergy and a lot of convergence will come for this new global architecture.
Still so much to talk about, but for now, thank you so much, Professor Li, for joining us today here at the German Development Institute.
Thank you very much. Dankeschön.